Hello and welcome to our University Advisor webinar. I'm Callum Usher-Dodd and today I'm going to be taking you through Enactus 101 and the role of the University Advisor. Now, if you are watching us live and you are logged into YouTube, you can use the chat function to enter your name, which university you're from, and also to put in any questions you have as we go along. So I will get started now, and as we move through, if anybody would like to post a question, please feel free to do so. So in today's webinar agenda, we're going to be giving an overview of the Enactus Worldwide Programme, Enactus UK's programme, a look at Enactus projects, the University Advisor role itself, what resources are available to University Advisors, and also touch on the University Advisor Steering Group. Now we're going to start by looking at the Enactus programme at large, and really we're going to rifle through this section. A lot of materials are available that take a look at the Enactus Worldwide Programme, from the YouTube video, which you'll find on Enactus YouTube, which is a great little information 4-minute video to give an overview, and then on the website, and anything else in our resource center really give an overview. But to give you an insight for those of you who might not be aware, Enactus is a global organization, an international nonprofit that's dedicated to bringing together academics, business leaders, and students to create sustainable, community-driven projects, social enterprises that focus on the biggest challenges facing the world at the moment. Now, Enactus is based in 36 countries, has a global participation rate of around 70,000 students a year, and is based in across 1,800 campuses. Now, here in the UK, Enactus operates as a separate charity and separate social enterprise from Enactus Worldwide, and operates on a membership model. And it has two key objectives. Firstly, to enable progress through entrepreneurial action, creating a framework for students to engage in entrepreneurial action in the community, and also to really focus on developing value-driven leaders. Now, one of our big focuses is around the development of next generation leaders, which is all around connecting students with their communities, connecting them with causes and values, and helping them put into practice their real passion and enthusiasm for tackling some of the world's biggest problems. We know through the process of working in communities that our students develop fantastic employability and enterprise skills and strong leadership skills that really carry them forward for the world of work, or when they go on to create their own startups. Now, Enactus UK is an organization that is always looking to grow, always looking to expand. It's been operating here in the UK for around 15 years, just over 15 years, and currently operates two key models. So Enactus Universities is the main program that works with our 60 universities across the country, and is where the main body of program activity works. Now, recently this year, we have launched Next Generation Leaders in Schools to look at taking the Enactus framework and program to 16 to 18-year-olds, to really take that learning and understanding to a different platform, but also to give an opportunity for a pipeline for students to engage in social action at a young age in schools, and then to continue that when they progress to university. And when we look to the future, Enactus will be looking at working with entrepreneurs and looking at that off-ramp. A lot of our Enactus students create fantastic projects and social enterprises within Enactus, and many of them are excited to look at the opportunity of taking that further. So it's our hope in coming years to expand our model even further and be working with students 16 to 18 whilst at university, and then as they go off to become entrepreneurs. And this is just a quick look at our Enactus UK team, and we're a very small organization, but we get a lot of work done. The key ones from a university advisor perspective would be Rosie Connolly, our finance and administration manager, who is the point person for all university advisor questions and any kind of experience that you need to learn from and best practice. Rosie's been in the organization over a decade and has a lot of great insights and can help any university advisor and connect them to anybody else in the network. And then on the right, we have our program team, Olivia, Divya, and Thomas. They work directly with our Enactus teams. The program improvement managers, they were Enactus students themselves. They've gone on to now give something back to the program, and they work full-time, operating regionally to work with all the Enactus teams. And they really are the connection between Enactus and the student teams and yourselves. So they're the ones that you will see who will be updating you on their campus visits. They will update you on team progress. And really, if there's anything that we need from teams or we're asking from teams, they're always going to be there, kind of copying you into messages just so that you've got an oversight and awareness of what's going on with the team. Now, our program and most Enactus programs around the world operate on a very basic framework. We focus on developing an Enactus team on campus. These are student-led, but to exist, they must have a university advisor, or in Enactus worldwide parlance, which you might see sometimes, a faculty advisor. And they are the ones who are the mentors and the coaches and the real champion of Enactus on campus. Enactus teams are supported by the university advisors, by Enactus alumni who've gone through the program, and also a local business advisory board. Now, the business advisory board is made up of partner organizations from Enactus that want to support the Enactus team grow, but also can be made up of other members of the university or local social enterprises or entrepreneurs, anybody really who can add value and support the team. Alongside this, we run with our corporate partners training and development opportunities for the students. This is actually a picture of one of our most popular training events, our training weekend, where we take 400 students for a residential in November, and we take them through the process of how to create projects, how to develop their teams. Our partners run sessions for them, our alumni run sessions, and we try and bring together our students as much as possible for any peer-to-peer learning. Our partners will also run training throughout the year as well. Sometimes they are careers focused, sometimes they're skills focused, sometimes they're Enactus focused, but there's a real mix and program activity for teams to get involved with as we go throughout the year. To develop their skills, students implement community projects. So this is the main bread and butter of Enactus, really delivering projects that make a difference within their community. So the students in this scenario will always partner with a project partner. So this might be a charity or a type of organization in the community where they can build a project together. And then they really work to empower the individuals that they work with. And later on in the webinar, we'll touch upon the different types of projects students run and kind of the framework that we use to help our students develop. And finally, the Enactus competition is a big figurehead for our program and for all Enactus programs around the world. Teams compete at a national competition that ends the Enactus year, where the team really showcases all of the work that they have done this Enactus year. And really, it's a competition that is about showing how many lives have been changed through the work that Enactus students do, the kinds of innovation, the kinds of skills. And again, it's one of those opportunities for us here in the UK where we pull all of our stakeholders together and the students get to present in front of 1,000 people, some of them their peers, some of them business leaders from across the world, and also yourselves as university advisors. There's always great opportunities for you to be involved in those events as well. And I'll talk a little bit about our competition process and expo as we move on through the webinar. Now, this slide really just shows our program in a nutshell, and you'll actually find a lot of statistics in our annual review. And our annual reviews are available online at the enactusuk.org website, but they're also available on our resource center, which I will show you how to access later on. But really, the breadth of our program is that we work with 60 universities, always growing, and I'll show a quick list in a minute of who we're working with. Around 2,500 students. We're always looking to bring more Enactus students into the fold. We work with 38 corporate partners who are involved in running some of our 73 training events. We invest money into projects through the funding our corporate partners provide to us, and we also assign them with mentors. And by putting that support program around our students, that allows them to touch the lives of around 12,000 people in the last year and develop around 214 social enterprise projects in this last year. And really a terrific amount of volunteer hours go into achieving this impact. Now, I just wanted to put up the list of our university partners, just so you could get an idea of the scale, but also so you can take a think around whether you want to be in contact with any of these universities. So one of the benefits of being a university advisor is really you're connected to each of these universities in a network of around 150 university advisors. Now, everybody operates slightly differently, but it's always fascinating to get the best practice and hear the experiences of other university advisors based at universities. They might be in similar geographic locations, or they might be similar in terms of the programs they deliver, and you're interested in talking to them. But I really would encourage you to reach out to us at Enactus UK if you'd like to talk to any of our Enactus teams. Also highlighted the ones in blue there, who are our rookie teams, as we like to call them, but new Enactus teams entering the fold this year. And every year we add around 3 Enactus universities, and it's constantly growing as we have a pipeline of universities to bring through. But definitely great to see the program growing year in, year out at the moment. It's not just our university partners that we work with. Enactus works with a range of corporate partners. Now, Enactus as an organisation, both globally and here in the UK, is fully sponsor funded. So we operate through the benefit of a sponsorship model where our partners invest money into us, which we in turn invest into our students and our projects. Now, these companies really get involved for a range of reasons, and I'll kind of highlight some of those in a minute. But our partners are really passionate about working directly with students, and beyond all the careers fairs which are run in Enactus, they also want to work directly with students. Now, our top tier of sponsorships there, our platinum sponsors, they all run certain initiatives throughout the year, funding competitions that we call ITCs, which are individual topic competitions. Now, these directly invest money into projects which align with their focus, their CSR focus. So Ernest Young, for example, have a youth foundation, a youth empowerment foundation. So they directly support projects with mentors and funding that have Enactus youth projects. And it's a great way really for them to get involved. And a partner like Barclays will run Insight Days. Last year, they ran a technology hackathon event in their Eagle Labs. So really all the way throughout the year, these partners will be engaging with Enactus students, and we always promote all of the opportunities that our partners have directed to the students, but also to you as university advisors. So you have the opportunity to flag to your students what's going on in Enactus, but also when we think about the wider journey and how we can attract more Enactus students in, or more students generally, it's always great from a careers perspective to be aware of the kinds of opportunities that are available to students. Now, to put it in context, I will talk a little bit about why Enactus is so important and valued to these sponsors, but to put a percentage on it, on the left, you can see that the average higher application to higher ratio for a student is around 7 to 9%, whereas with our Enactus partners, if you've been a student in Enactus, you've got a 45 to 85% chance of getting through the application process. A lot of these partners will have Enactus on their application forms. A lot of them will have special support for people applying. So Centrica, for example, run summer placements exclusively for Enactus students, and they also have a team of Enactus alumni who've gone through the Centrica recruitment process who like to give back and help mentor anybody through that application process. So again, I think the message here is around you really do get exclusive careers opportunities by joining Enactus, and a lot of our partners provide business advisors who are mentors that support the projects. So our students get involved, for a number of reasons. As a former Enactus student myself, one of the biggest draws is being able to make a difference in the world, and to be able to make one in a sustainable manner. This isn't around charity. This is around looking at how business can help the community. It's about looking at that long-term sustainable growth. Another great part, just showed all the amazing sponsors that our program has. The chance to develop skills, a chance to be closer to partners, is another main draw for why students get involved in Enactus. There's a chance to meet other students from around the world. This is also a team activity, so you get to represent your university as an Enactus team. So really, there's a great opportunity to change lives, to improve your employability, and to join a network that's a global change-making network. So our students, we have a mixture of students. I just want to highlight some of the key stats in our program. One I always find fascinating there is the gender split. So it's kind of very accurate of the social enterprise sector at large, but a lot of our teams have a strong female leadership presence, which is fantastic. We have a real mixture of years of graduation. So obviously you get a lot of third years, higher participation rate of students in the final year, but we've also got great engagement across students in the first and second years. In the field of study, it tends to be business students are the main cohort that get involved in Enactus, as one might expect. But really, we see a great level of cross participation from other faculties. And I think the strength of the Enactus program really is the diversity of students involved. They bring in all different factors. You can have engineering projects, technology projects. You can have all of these projects that bring in the different skill sets, both specialized skill sets, but also some more general skill sets around project management, leadership, communication. So really, Enactus teams are at their strongest when they are bringing in as many students from different faculties as possible. And one of the things we encourage university advisors to look at is really think about how they can engage other faculties and how they can bring in other types of students, because there really is a value add for any student from any faculty. So when developing this top 10 lists of skills that students develop in Enactus, we surveyed our students and our partners, and these were the top 10 that came up. And I think, really crucial for our partners is that teamwork side, that communication, that leadership, but really that opportunity to engage with people outside of the university environment. The students are doing things that they're expected to do when they graduate almost. They're putting those skills into practice. They're taking their classroom learning and they're applying it to practical situations. This is a chance for them to break the campus bubble. Of course, it's sometimes scary for them, and this is a great chance for them to fail fast, as it were. But really, across that process, as they work on things, they become more adaptable. They become a lot stronger, a lot more resilient in the activities that they're undertaking. And by the time they're reaching their third year in Enactus, we find that our partners are really rushing to kind of hire these students and take them into their companies. So I've talked a little bit around the skills that students develop. I've talked a little bit about why they get involved. But now I really want to focus on what they do as a team before we lead directly into projects, which are really the key thing for Enactus. But as an overview of what an Enactus team will do in a year, what an Enactus student will do, they'll build a team on campus. They will look to develop their organizational structures. They'll look to develop their finances. They'll look really to set the strategic direction for their organization. A lot of Enactus teams are established as societies on campus, but we tend to use the language of them being a student-led organization, because they really do have to look at all of the different processes that any normal organization would look at: marketing, recruitment, finance, innovation. They really need to create an organization that provides an environment to foster new projects, but also one that is continuously sustainable in terms of recruitment, in terms of finances. And that, again, is a great opportunity to pull in people with different skill sets. They deliver social projects, and we'll talk a little bit around the Enactus criteria in a minute. They'll deliver commercial projects, again, to finance their social initiatives, but also to attend training events and national competition, which they'll present on stage at a national event in April, which is the end of next year. And during this, they produce fully produced presentation, they prepare Q&A, they produce annual reports of their impact in the Enactus year, and really they are doing all of these things between September to April. Now, Enactus projects, which are the key cornerstone of any Enactus team, all operate from this simple premise, what's called the Enactus criterion. Now, this is the starting point for any Enactus project in any of the campuses across the world, but it starts with which Enactus team most effectively used entrepreneurial action to empower people to improve their livelihoods in an economic, socially, and environmentally sustainable way. Now, the key bit here is entrepreneurial action. This doesn't necessarily talk about revenue generation, but this means the broader sense, the entrepreneurial mindset. How have the team taken an entrepreneurial approach to something? Are they working with partners in any way? Are they looking at a creative solution, innovative solution? Have they taken a solution that works somewhere else and brought it into their own community? Are they engaging partners in a way that nobody's ever done before? Sometimes it would also be around revenue generation. There isn't necessarily a requirement for it to generate any revenue. Empower people. Now, I'll break down the impact criterion in a minute, looking at the different types of impact that an Enactus team can have. But empowerment here really is the goal of any Enactus project. This isn't around just providing resources to somebody and leaving. This is really about transferring skills and knowledge to a beneficiary and allowing them to improve their livelihood. And then finally, that economic, socially, environmentally sustainable way. That triple bottom line really is important to an Enactus project. Are they considering a holistic approach? Are they looking at the impacts they will have in different areas? Are they sure that there are no negative impacts associated to their project? So we have training on the Enactus framework. That's on their resource center. So university advisors have a resource center, but also the students have a resource center. And our program improvement manager team are there as well to work with the students on looking at their projects, breaking them down, understanding the model that they're using, and making sure that they're really hitting all of these key points in the framework. And below that really is just the basic elements of an Enactus project. They need to find a need in the community, and this is done through a needs assessment, a thorough needs assessment. They should be working with partners to understand what the challenges are. They should carry out in-depth research. Once they've identified that need and a beneficiary group to work with, they should be looking at that entrepreneurial action, that solution. They should be measuring the impacts, and they really should be looking at the long-term sustainability of a project. Currently, Enactus projects, a large percentage of our Enactus projects are based in their local communities. It's something that Enactus UK is particularly keen on developing, is making sure the teams focus on their local communities first and really develop a great impact framework and some results in their local area. It is a requirement for all Enactus teams to present at least one local project at Impact, a national competition, which will be implemented for the first time this year at National Expo 2019. And it is something that we provide a framework on to help the teams look at their local impact. Enactus teams can also run international projects if they have the correct resource for that, in terms of finance, in terms of expertise, partners on the ground internationally. We have a guideline and a procedure, an international project procedures pack that we ask all teams to fill out. That is under the supervision of university advisors. So we would ask any university advisor to look through their international plans to make sure that you've seen the documents that we're asking from them. And again, during this process, we want everybody to be as open and as transparent as possible during the international trips, as we know that there's a high percentage of risk attributed to an international project. But we are aware, of course, that some Enactus teams would like to work internationally for certain reasons. And if they do, we will support them. But it's important for us that there's a process in place to make sure that we understand all of the risks involved in those trips. And if we look at beneficiary groups, you can see there's a really high weighting there towards working with youth and also working with vulnerable women or female empowerment, female entrepreneurs, really some great project types that are working through there. And on this next slide, really just looking at where our projects are working in a global context. We're very keen again to show the impact on a global scale. This is every Enactus project, no matter how small or no matter where they're working, are contributing to a wider narrative, to a global story. So the global goals are something that Enactus Worldwide talk about a lot. We also talk about it in Enactus UK, and we find they're a great way really of framing a narrative around what types of projects Enactus students are creating. Again, all of these statistics are available in our annual review, and in our annual review, it will show the numbers of impact that we've had in each of these categories in the last year. Now, when it comes to developing a project, I showed the framework a couple of slides ago. This really is one of our models for helping teams develop a project. And in its most basic stage, this just shows the steps that a team will go through when designing their idea, testing their idea, launching their idea, and really evaluating their idea. And at every stage, we have different resources to help the team through this journey. And our program managers are on hand to help them as well. I think probably one of the key things here is that this will normally happen in one Enactus year. This process will normally start September to October, and there is a natural evaluation point at the end of the Enactus year in April, where a team really needs to decide how successful they've been, whether it's something they will continue, whether they will scale their impact, or even a successful Enactus project might hand over to the beneficiaries or project partner. Again, all of this is available on the resource center. I just wanted to show a couple of Enactus project case studies. If you go on to enactusuk.org, you will find a bank of project stories. Same with enactus.org, there are some fantastic videos on YouTube and some more case studies, not just about the projects that are happening here in the UK, but some that are happening across the world. And you'll also find in the Enactus UK YouTube channel presentations from our national competition, which really showcase some of the diversity and innovation that goes on in Enactus projects. The first project we're highlighting here is Utilise, a project that was run in Loughborough a couple of years ago by Loughborough University. And it was one of the first social cafes that was in the Enactus UK programme. The Enactus Loughborough team partnered with a local community centre who were struggling with funds to look at what they could do to boost the community centre, but also to look at social isolation in the area and think about how they could create something innovative that would bring the community together. Now, what they did, they worked with our corporate partners, Tesco, Asda, and collected food waste from those stores, brought them to the community centre, and then turned them into meals, soups, curries, anything that they could create. And they had a pay-as-you-feel model. So for people in the community that were struggling to pay for the meals, it meant that they could have a free or very cheap meal. And for other members, it meant they could pay it forward. And this was a great way of engaging the community, the university, and also our corporate partners, which was a fantastic project. And in that year, they served over 1,000 meals and worked with a real range of people. They trained people in catering and health and safety certificates, food hygiene certificates, help people back into employment in that respect, and also help people in the community who could have access to cheaper meals, and help the community centre by providing another source of revenue. A really great project, and one that you can review the Loughborough presentation from the final of national competition 2 years ago, which is really worth a look. And another project we just wanted to highlight would be New Routes at Cardiff University. A really interesting project, this one, for us at Enactus, because this is one that is actually embedded within a module at Cardiff University in their business school. And this is a joint faculty and student-led project. So there's a co-creation module that works with adult learners who are refugees and students. They have an 8-week module that takes people through the process of coming up with a business idea, developing a business idea, and testing a business idea. Now, the students work alongside each other to co-create this module through the 9 weeks, and they serve as mentors to the beneficiaries, but both parties learn together. And this is about developing the skills of refugees, but also providing some certification for the participants. So everybody that goes through this module receives a certificate of professional development. The students also receive credits from this module. It is a credit-bearing module. So it's a really great way of combining active-based learning and also Enactus all into one program. And it's something that the Cardiff University are happy to share their format and blueprint for that module with any other university. So if it is something that sounds like it would be of interest, please do get in touch with us, and we can connect you to Professor Tim Edwards at the Business School in Cardiff. And I think two of the great stories from this are that two of the refugee beneficiaries that passed the module were actually offered master's courses at Cardiff University, which the university subsidised, which is a really fascinating story. And the refugees actually attended our national expo as well to watch the Cardiff team present, which was a really fantastic story for everybody involved. Now, we'll talk a lot about impact in Enactus, and this is probably something that will come up over the next few months as we head towards April more and more. The teams will be classifying the impact that they've had in their projects. Now, we will run further modules on the competition and kinds of skills that are required during this time. But just to provide you a very quick overview of impact in Enactus, there are 3 main categories: lives improved, direct impact, and empowerment. Empowerment is the highest form of impact, and lives improved is almost the starting point. Now, not all 3 types of impact will exist in one project. Necessarily, all 3 can exist, or it might just be one, depending on the project. So lives improved is the number of people that have benefited from a project, and this should be a continual benefit, but there doesn't necessarily need to be a direct impact, transference of skills and knowledge. A direct impact is where a team has worked directly with somebody, there's been a transference of skills and knowledge, and those beneficiaries can now use that knowledge. And empowerment would be when they've taken the skills and knowledge that was directly transferred to them, and they're now able to use that in a way that's led to a measurable change in their livelihoods. Now, in terms of examples for this, lives improved might be an Enactus team goes out and puts in a water filter in an international community. Now, everybody who has access to that water would be counted as lives improved. They have a tangible benefit that's continuous to them, but there hasn't been a skills or knowledge transfer. A direct impact in that scenario might be that the team has worked with a community group, transferred the skills and knowledge for them to develop the water filter, and they've developed the water filter. So that would be a direct impact. An empowerment in that project would be those community group that now are able to set up water filters, are able to go and set up those water filters in other areas and receive an income from this. And as a result, they are now able to provide more securely for their families. So really, that would be a journey through this. There are more examples, but empowerment is something that we audit very closely. It's something we're very aware of, and we would ask for, in the case where somebody has secured a new job or secured entrance to higher education or gained stable accommodation, we would ask for evidence that this has actually happened, either testimonials from the individual or testimonials from the project partner in that respect. But again, all the way through this process, our program improvement managers are here to help with this and will support both teams and yourselves as university advisors to really understand what type of impact has occurred in that project. So when it comes to actually classifying the forms of impact, it's incredibly important because they will be presenting their impact at the end of the Enactus year. Now, they'll be doing this at competition, which I've mentioned occasionally as we've gone throughout this webinar. This really is the focal point of the Enactus year in every country. This is a shot of the Enactus Memorial team from the World Cup there. But every team competes regionally, where they will present in front of Enactus UK and some business advisors. There are 2 weeks of regional competitions based in the major cities, where every team will attend, even if they're not competing, because they will be engaging in a strategy meeting with Enactus UK. So we do encourage every team to compete if they can and present a high-class presentation, just so that they get the experience of that. But we do appreciate that not every team is in a position to be able to present their results from the year. And if that's the case, we would still want them to attend regionally and present to Enactus UK to focus maybe more around their sustainability and how they can grow as a team. Now, every team enters the regional competition. We base it regionally for the sake of logistics. Teams are not competing against each other regionally. They are seeded nationally. So if a team might ask you how the regional competition process works, one, they can come to Enactus UK and ask us, but for your knowledge, teams aren't against the team in their region. They are seeded nationally. So every team, the top 32 teams from regionals will progress to the main national competition, which is in April 8th and 9th. And they would then be presenting in a process that goes through opening round, semi-finals through to our final, where the winner from the final would then go on to represent the UK at the Enactus World Cup, which is in Silicon Valley. Now, this national competition takes part at the National Expo. It's one of the main things that happens at the event, but there's a whole host of different things that they can get, that any Enactus team can get involved with. So again, we really want every Enactus team to attend the National Expo, whether they're competing or not, because it's an incredible experience for them. There's some great peer-to-peer opportunities, lots of learning, lots of visiting other presentations, understanding what other Enactus teams have done in their projects, lots of learning, and great opportunities for careers fairs, meeting partners. So really a whole host of things to do. There's a 2-day event, and really we bring together around 1,000 people from our network. So this really is the flagship that we'd want every Enactus student to get to. There's no limit on how many people teams can take, so they can take as many people as they want. But these are the kinds of things that are on offer at the National Expo. There's the careers fair, there's live pitching events in what we call our pitch pod, where teams will be pitching live for funding. For you as university advisors, again, it's one of those touch points in the year. So we bring together every university advisor for a networking luncheon, which is sponsored by Enterprise Educators UK. There'll be the main competition. All teams entering as a rookie will compete in the Rookie League. We have a Development League, and also Enactus UK run an after party for the students, which university advisors are actually more than welcome to attend if they'd like. So just a quick reminder to save the date now in your calendars, the 8th and 9th of April. We will always be sending out more information. We'll be running another webinar around competition management for university advisors and for teams, but we'll also be sending out information on reduced hotel fees and where to stay and travel information. So do keep an eye out for that. So now we're going to dive a little bit into the university advisor role. And first half of the webinar was really around focusing on Enactus UK, Enactus Global, projects look like, because that's all important information, and it's probably where we start when when students enter on our journey, that's the information we get across to them first. But now we're going to look at the university advisor role for a little bit. Now, this first line comes up the Enactus role, the university advisor role, is to manage, coach, and guide the Enactus team. Now, university advisor role varies from institution to institution, from UA to UA. You know, it is a mixed role. It's a varied role. It's a voluntary role. So we understand that there is a need for a degree of flexibility from institution to institution. That being said, we have put together a set of different things that are required in the role, or things that might help you in the role. And I'll just talk through some of them just to give you kind of an insight into it. So university advisors are probably one of the main mandatory roles in all of Enactus. A team cannot be active without a university advisor. We really do see them as the linchpin to any team. They're the ones that are the champion for Enactus within their institution, and they're also ones where the knowledge and experience will stay within the team. Whereas the student team a third of the team will be graduating every year. The university advisor will be that constant presence. So it really is a crucial role. Generally speaking, the role on the day-to-day looks like supporting the team with whatever challenges they might have. So this could be around project development, it could be around team organization, it could be around leadership, management, communication. It could be around how can the team work closer with the university, what funding is available for the Enactus team. But generally speaking, teams will approach you asking for support in those areas, probably a little bit of coaching, a little bit of guidance. And they'll need different things at different times of the year. You know, as we begin the academic term, teams are focused on recruitment. As we head towards the end of the first term, as we head towards the end of the year, teams are looking at project development. How do they make their projects grow? How do they make more impact? How do they find partners? As we head into the second half of the Enactus term, as we head towards April, they're more focused on presenting skills. How do they make sure that their presentation accurately reflects the journey that the Enactus team have been on? How do they present the best version of themselves? And that's probably the main touch points as you go throughout the year, people looking towards those key parts. So in terms of other things that are required from a university advisor, there are some mandatory reports that come up from time to time. So I mentioned earlier the international project procedures. We'd ask a university advisor to sign those off. There are also some other forms. So at the end of the year, the Enactus team will produce an annual report of all their activity. We would ask that a university advisor signs that off to approve that everything written in there is correct to their knowledge. There's also a verification form which has a similar code in it. And throughout the year, we'll also ask university advisors to sign off on individual topic competitions. So I mentioned the partners run ITCs that provide funding for Enactus projects. Teams are asked to show that to university advisors to get some feedback on that application, how strong it is, but also to sign off on it to prove that you have seen it. And we would also sign that off on that as program managers. So all of this, these role descriptions, all this information is based in the University Advisor Manual. You'll find that online on the Resource Center, which I'll give you your login for in a minute. And that really has some case studies, some examples of projects, ways that university advisors have worked. And again, we have lots of insights and case studies from those types of activities. There's actually a bank of resources that can help you as you start into your role. But I think one of the best things to do is talk to Enactus, talk to Rosie, and ask if you can be connected with a university advisor that's been in the role for a number of years. I think sometimes getting that insight from a peer is always crucial to to help understand learning. And we're always happy to do those kinds of things. On this next page, this is just some engagement strategies based from best practice and things that we've seen, things that can help make the role a little bit easier for you, but also for the Enactus team. Really, it starts there with a key point, set expectations on what professional engagement looks like for you as an individual. A lot of our students, a lot of our Enactus teams are beginning their professional journeys. They won't necessarily understand what a timely manner is or a professional manner all the time. They won't think about sending out calendar invites for meetings. They won't think about email etiquette, perhaps. So really, when it comes to you as a new university advisor, I think one of the key things is get in there, meet with the leadership, and tell them what you expect. What does good communication look like for you? And likewise, understand what works best for them. If they have regular meetings or how they choose to communicate normally, what challenges they have, how they want to work with you, what they expect from that role, and what you expect from that role, really is the best place to start. The second one is have a fortnightly catch up with the team if you can. This is something that we recommend to Enactus teams to think about if they can. And there are certain times in the year where this might not be practical, but in general, we always recommend to the team that they try and have a fixed point in the calendar where they can meet with you. Might be every 2 weeks, might be every month, whatever is most applicable to you or the team. But that way it really ensures that everybody is kept up to speed with things. A lot of the times, teams will only think that they should schedule a meeting when they're having a challenge, as opposed to having that regular touch-in point. So again, it's just that point around professionalism and best practice. It's something that we always encourage, and personally, I would recommend if you're able to do that. The third point is around discussing university strategy and where the team can tie into that. Enactus teams won't always think around what's on campus. There's always a lot of initiatives happening at a university, and sometimes some of those things can get lost in the noise, but sometimes teams won't always think about how they can fit in with those strategies. They might be certain careers initiatives, or they might be certain CSR focuses or sustainability focuses on campus. Again, there is no reason why the team cannot be involved in these to support what they're doing, but also sometimes to boost engagement at the university. Some Enactus teams are very large, and bringing that presence of, say, a team of 30 to 50 people in on university activity can really add value on both sides of that relationship. But again, anything like that can be highlighted and promoted to the team really can bring dual benefits. Fourth point is around the relationship between the student union. A lot of our Enactus teams, 90%, are set up as student societies. And it's always important, not only for the team to really understand that, but also for a university advisor perspective. Teams will always come to you first, probably ahead of their students' union. When it comes to asking for certain things, there could be in terms of what do they do if they're having trouble with one of their members. When it comes to traveling to events, sometimes they won't necessarily think about the risk assessments and things that they'll need to do for their students' union. So as much as possible, in an ideal world, they'll have a university advisor from the student union, and that might be something you can recommend. But if not, it's just important sometimes to point them back and make sure that they have checked in with their student union. The next point is really around suggesting that there be multiple university advisors where they can. It's our strategy as Enactus UK for every Enactus team to have at least 2 university advisors as a minimum. But even then, in general, the more people that the team get in their support network, the easier it is, just to really spread that workload. But also to add different voices to the input, and that sometimes really adds a lot of value to Enactus teams. And the final point really is just around, at any point in the in the university advisor journey, at any point you're not sure of what to do, or the team has come to something with you which you're not quite sure of yet, or you're not sure about anything about your role or Enactus in general, please do feel free to contact Program Improvement Manager or Rosie Connolly. And we're on hand to support you with this. We work with a number of university advisors, a number of teams, so we can really highlight areas of best practice. We can suggest things that we've seen have worked in the past. We can connect you with other universities who might be experiencing similar challenges or similar areas of opportunity. And really, we're always keen to join up the dots and help wherever we can. So do feel free to get in contact with us at any time. As we head to the end of the webinar, I just wanted to share with you the resource center login, enactusukrc.org. This is a resource that all of our stakeholders have access to. They all have different portals on there. Our teams, our university advisors, our business advisors, our alumni. They all have their own portals. As a university advisor, you'll have access to the student training, but also some training that university advisors have. So for every university has a login. It is advisor followed by the university name, and that's the username and the password. So if you have any trouble logging in, just let us know, and we're able to fix that for you. But in general, advisor and your university name should get you in. And on there, you'll find university advisor webinars, so everything from last year, which cover all the key topics. You'll find the University Advisor Manual and a whole host of other training on there, just to help you in your role and to help you support the teams. And this here is just kind of showing you what else is available on the resource center. So some of the central documentation that we talked about is available online. Some of the risk assessments, ITC forms, Expo handbook. We have a calendar on there that you can import into Outlook, just with all the key different events in there and deadlines. As I mentioned, we've got the webinars, we've got case studies. Other supports are the LinkedIn group, Rosie, Program Manager, and the Enactus Team Handbook, which is the worldwide handbook, which has an A to Z of Enactus in there. But again, all the way through, different resources that are there to help you. And if you think, as a new university advisor coming in, if there's anything you're missing or anything you'd like support with, do feel free to suggest it to us. We're always keen to grow the number of resources we have and help make things as easy as possible for you as new university advisors. So if there is something you think, does it already exist, or it would be great if this thing was available to me, just let us know and we will do our best to get that created. And following on from that, we also have another resource that's available to you, which is the University Advisor Steering Group. Now, the University Advising Steering Group is made up of a number of UAs who've been in the network for a while, and their role really is to review the relationship with Enactus UK, to understand how the role of the UA works, to look at what resources are available, to help share best practice. It's something that we have introduced last year, but we're going to look to build on this year, and they'll be in touch with you throughout the year as well. But if there is anything, if it's something that you'd be interested in being a part of or learning more about, please do let Rosie or your program manager know, and we would love to have as people involved in this, and really share your thoughts on the direction of the UA role as a whole in our program, because the university advisor really is crucial to the success of Enactus, to the success of Enactus teams, but we really couldn't do what we do without the university advisor. So that's why our steering group is in place, really, is to help look at how we really add value to that network and how we get the best out of university advisors, and how university advisors can get the best out of us at Enactus. So that brings us to the end of the new UA webinar. Thank you for listening. Really, if I had any messages, it would be to look at the resource center, to reach out to the other university advisors in the network, and to reach out to us. But thank you for volunteering your time. Thank you for supporting Enactus. As a former, Enactus student, I can really say that my university advisors were the ones that helped me get through Enactus and really helped take our team to the next level. And I know that we wouldn't have been able to achieve what we did without the university advisors. So the work you do is vitally important. So thank you very much for that. And if there is ever anything you need from us, please drop us a line. Thank you, and I look forward to speaking to you again.